I watched a gate agent threaten to call the police on an 80-year-old woman last week. Her crime? She was confused. She was holding up the line because she couldn't find her boarding pass on her phone, and she was terrified she was going to miss her grandson's wedding. The agent was rolling her eyes, sighing loudly, basically treating this sweet lady like a nuisance. I stepped in, flashed my crew badge, and whispered 4 specific words to that agent. Her face went pale. Suddenly, the attitude vanished. The grandmother didn't just get on the plane, she got escorted to a better seat. That moment right there made my blood boil. It happens every single day. If you are a senior traveler, or if you travel with one, you have a target on your back. The airlines are banking on your politeness. They are banking on the fact that you don't know the rules. They count on you being too tired or too intimidated to fight back. I'm Benny. I've been a flight attendant for 15 years. I've flown millions of miles. I've worked for the big carriers, and I've seen the ugly side of how this industry treats its most vulnerable passengers. I'm tired of seeing seniors get bullied into paying fees they don't owe and accepting seats that hurt them. Today, I am going rogue. I am going to hand you the rulebook that the airlines keep behind the counter. We are going to talk about 10 specific travel rights, federal protections and industry mandates that airports and airlines conveniently forget to tell you about. These aren't just tips. These are legal shields, and I promise you, by the time we're done, you will never walk into a terminal with fear again. You're going to walk in like you own the place. Let's start with the most dangerous phase of travel, which, surprisingly, isn't in the air. It's the airport shuffle. This brings us to right number 1, the door-toward escort mandate. Here is the scenario. You book a ticket, you're capable, you can walk. You don't need a wheelchair. But maybe your hearing isn't what it used to be. Or maybe walking a mile through the Atlanta airport terminal feels like a marathon. So you struggle. You stress. You get to the gate exhausted and sweaty. You assume that because you aren't disabled in a wheelchair, you are on your own. That is a lie. Under the Air Carrier Access Act, airlines are required to provide assistance, not just for those who cannot walk, but for those who need guidance. It is technically called meet and assist. But here's the secret. You have to ask for it the right way. If you just ask for help, they point you to a map. If you say, I require a meet and assist due to a sensory limitation or mobility fatigue, they are obligated to provide an escort. I had a passenger, let's call him Arthur. Arthur could walk fine, but he got easily disoriented in crowds. He missed 2 flights in a row because he couldn't hear the gate change announcements. The airline tried to charge him a rebooking fee. I told Arthur to use the magic words. Next flight, an agent walked him from the check-in counter, through security, right to my aircraft door. Didn't cost him a dime. The airlines hate this because it takes staff away from other tasks, so they will never offer it. You have to demand it. But getting to the gate is only half the battle. You have to get through the security theater first. Which leads me to right number 2, the private screening option. I see seniors traumatized by the TSA every day. You have hip replacements, knee replacements, pacemakers. You know the drill. The alarm goes off, then comes the public pat-down. It's humiliating. You're standing there in your socks, arms out, while hundreds of strangers stare at you. It feels like you're a criminal. You do not have to endure that. You have the right to a private screening. This isn't a favor, it is a mandate. If the metal detector goes off and they say they need to pat you down, you can immediately say, I want this done in private. They have to take you to a shielded area or a separate room. You also have the right to have a travel companion witness the screening, so you aren't alone with the officers. Furthermore, there is a secret weapon called SACARES. It's a hotline. If you call them 72 hours before your flight, they can actually assign a passenger support specialist to meet you at the airport and guide you through the screening process. They literally pave the way for you. I've seen grown men cry from relief because they didn't have to strip down their dignity in front of a crowd. Why doesn't the TSA advertise this on the big screens? because it slows down their assembly line. They want you fast. They don't care if you are comfortable. Now, let's talk about the stuff you carry. This is where the airlines really try to rob you. Right number 3. The medical equipment loophole. We are living in the age of the basic economy nightmare. Airlines are charging for carry-ons. They are weighing bags like gold dust. I see seniors trying to stuff their CPAP machines, their nebulizers, or their portable oxygen concentrators into their personal backpacks, smashing their clothes, trying to make it all fit into one bag so they don't get hit with a $60 gate check fee. Stop doing that immediately. Medical devices do not count against your carry-on limit, period. I had a lady on a flight to Phoenix, terrified, because the gate agent told her she had 3 bags, a purse, a carry-on roller, and her CPAP bag. The agent said, "You have to check one, that's $75. She was about to pay it. I intervened. I asked the agent, "Are you charging her for life-sustaining medical equipment?" The agent stammered. The law is clear. You can bring your carry-on, your personal item, and a separate bag for your medical equipment. But here is the catch, and this is why you need to listen closely. That bag must only contain medical equipment. If you throw a toothbrush or a novel in there, the airline can technically claim it's luggage. Keep it pure. CPAP, hoses, masks, medication. Nothing else. If they try to charge you, you say these words: "This is an assistive device under 14 CFR, Part 382. Watch how fast they back down. Speaking of medication, that brings me to a terrifying topic. Liquid limits. We all know the 311 rule: tiny bottles, quart-sized bag. But what if you are a senior who needs liquid nutrition? Or liquid medication that comes in a bottle larger than 3.4 ounces? Right number 4. The liquid medication exemption. You see people dumping out expensive nutritional shakes or liquid medicines at the checkpoint because the officer pointed at the sign. That sign does not apply to you if it is medically necessary. You have the right to bring reasonable quantities of liquid medications that exceed the 3.4-ounce limit. The secret is the presentation. Do not leave it in your bag to get flagged. Take it out. Tell the officer, "This is medically necessary liquid." They will test it, usually just a vapor test over the bottle, and let you through. I've seen diabetic passengers throw away juice they needed for low blood sugar emergencies because they thought the rules were absolute. They aren't. Your health trumps their convenience. Now, before we get onto the plane, I need to address something that drives me crazy. It's the seating game. This is a huge one. If you want to fly like a pro and avoid these traps, subscribe now. I'm sharing the things my corporate bosses wish I kept to myself, and I've got plenty more coming, okay? Let's get back to the gate. You've got your boarding pass. You look at it. Seat 34E, a middle seat, in the back, near the lavatory. And you have a fused leg, or a bad hip, or you simply cannot bend your knee for 4 hours without excruciating pain. You go to the desk, the agent says. "Well, we have an aisle seat in row 10, but that's an economy plus seat. That will be an extra $129. They are holding your comfort hostage." This leads us to right number 5, the seating accommodation mandate. This is distinct from just wanting a good seat. If you have a specific disability, and yes, a fused leg or a hip, requiring extra legroom to prevent pain counts as a disability limitation, the airline must provide you with a seat that accommodates that need if one is available in your class of service. If the only seats that fit your medical need are in the preferred section, usually the bulkhead or exit rows, though exit rows have age failability rules, and you qualify, they cannot charge you the upgrade fee. They have to give it to you for the standard price. I watched a man argue this for 20 minutes. He had a brace on his leg. He literally couldn't bend it. The agent wanted $80 for the bulkhead. He finally said, "I am requesting a seating accommodation under the ACASA due to a physical limitation." The manager came over, typed a code, and printed a new boarding pass. Row 5, no charge. The airline will maximize revenue until you invoke the regulation. Once you are on the plane, the dynamic changes. You are now in my domain. But even here, things can go wrong. Let's talk about hydration. It sounds simple, right? But have you ever been stuck on the tarmac? Right number 6, the tarmac delay rights. We have all seen the horror stories. Planes stuck on the runway for 4, 5, 6 hours. Toilets overflowing. No food. People passing out from heat. Since 2010, the Department of Transportation has put its foot down, but airlines still try to push the envelope. Here is the hard rule. If we are stuck on the tarmac for 2 hours, I, the flight attendant, must provide you with food and water. I have to, it's not a courtesy. If I don't, the airline faces massive fines. But here is the part they forget to mention. You have the right to a working lavatory. If the toilets are full or broken, and we are stuck, that is a violation. And if we hit the 3-hour mark, 4 hours for international flights, the plane must return to the gate and let you off. They cannot hold you prisoner. I was on a flight stuck in Chicago during a blizzard. We were at 2 hours and 50 minutes. The pilot wanted to wait just 10 more minutes for a de-icing truck. I had to call the cockpit and say, "Captain, we have seniors on board who need to access the terminal. We are legally timing out." He didn't like it, but we went back. Know your clock. If it hits 2 hours, ask for water. If it hits 3, ask for the gate. Now, let's get a little darker. Let's talk about when the airline breaks your stuff. Right number 7, the full value replacement. Right. Airlines destroy luggage, it's a fact of life. But when they destroy a wheelchair or a walker, they like to treat it like a suitcase. They will say, "Oh, we will send it out for repair. It will take 3 weeks." Or, "We depreciate the value because it was used." Wrong. If an airline damages your assistive device, they do not get to use the standard per-pound liability limits that apply to clothes. They must cover the repair or replacement cost. And here is the kicker. If they broke your wheelchair and you are stranded at the destination, they must provide a loaner immediately. I saw a lady arrive in London. Her customized electric wheelchair was crushed. The baggage handlers had dropped it. The airline rep offered her a voucher and a standard manual chair that she couldn't push herself. It was insulting. She knew her rights. She demanded a comparable loaner and full replacement value. It took a few hours of phone calls, but they rented a high-end electric chair for her stay. Do not settle for a voucher. Your mobility is not negotiable. But what if the flight itself is the disaster? What if they cancel on you? Right number 8. The airline of choice rebooking. This is a secret from the old days that still has some teeth, though it has gotten harder to use. It used to be called Rule 240. Here is the modern version. If the airline cancels your flight for a reason within their control maintenance, crew scheduling, and they cannot get you to your destination within a reasonable time, you can demand they book you on a competitor. They will never ever offer this. They will say, "We can get you on our next flight in 2 days." Imagine you are a senior on a fixed medication schedule. You cannot wait 2 days in an airport hotel. You need to tell them, "This delay is unacceptable due to my health needs. I am requesting you endorse my ticket to another carrier." I have seen agents lie and say they can't do it. They can, they just have to get a supervisor's code to override the system, because it costs them cash to pay the other airline. If you are polite but firm, and you emphasize the hardship of the delay on your age or health, you have a much better shot. Now, let's talk about money, cold, hard cash. Right number 9. The involuntary denied boarding compensation. The bump airlines overbook. It's their business model. They sell 150 seats on a plane that holds 140, betting that 10 people won't show up. When everyone shows up, someone has to get off. They usually ask for volunteers. Who wants a $300 voucher? Then $500? But if nobody volunteers, they start bumping people. Often, they pick the quietest people, the seniors. The ones who look like they won't cause a scene. If you are involuntarily bumped from a flight you have a confirmed reservation for, and the airline is responsible, do not accept a voucher. Vouchers have blackout dates. Vouchers expire. You have a federally protected right to cash, a check, right there at the desk. Depending on how long the delay is, you could be entitled to 400% of your one-way fare, up to over $1,500. Cash. I once watched an older couple get bumped. The agent handed them two $200 vouchers for a future flight. They looked sad but accepted it. I wanted to scream. They were entitled to $1,300 each in cash, because the next flight wasn't until the following morning. They essentially paid the airline for the privilege of being stranded. Finally, we have arrived at the most powerful right of all, the one that ties everything together. The nuclear option I mentioned at the start. Right number 10. The Crow Complaint Resolution Official. Remember this acronym. Crow. Every airline flying in the U.S. is required by law to have a complaint resolution official available at every airport they serve, during all operating hours. This isn't just a supervisor. This is a specially trained official who is the supreme authority on disability and accessibility regulations. The gate agent has power. The station manager has power. But the Crow has the power to overrule them all when it comes to your rights, as a senior traveler with medical or accessibility needs. If you are hitting a wall, if the agent is refusing your medical bag, if they are denying your pre-boarding, if they are being rude or dismissive, you stop the conversation. You look them in the eye, and you say, "I am requesting a generic supervisor." Number you say, "I believe my rights under the Air Carrier Access Act are being violated. I am requesting to speak to the Crow immediately." The mood will change instantly. The agent knows that if the Crow gets involved, they have to file a formal report to the Department of Transportation. It goes on the permanent record. It is a hassle they do not want. Usually, just asking for the Crow is enough to get the agent to suddenly find a way to help you. I used this myself when I was traveling off-duty with my father. He has Parkinson's. The crew was rushing him, making him feel anxious, telling him he needed to hurry up and sit down. He was shaking. I didn't pull my "I am a flight attendant" card. I pulled the "I want the Crow" card. The flight actually paused. The lead attendant came over, apologized profusely, and we got the time we needed. Traveling as a senior shouldn't be a battle. It should be the golden time of your life. You've earned these trips. You've worked for decades. You have raised families. You shouldn't be treated like cargo just because you move a little slower or need a little more help. The airlines operate on efficiency. They want turnover. They want speed. But you operate on humanity, and the law, surprisingly, is on your side. But only if you speak up. So, next time you fly, don't ask for permission to bring your medical bag. Tell them it's exempt. Don't suffer through the public pat-down. Demand privacy. Don't pay for the seat you physically need. Ask for the accommodation. And if they push back, you call for the Crowy. You have more power than you think. You just needed the script, and now you have it. I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever been bullied by a gate agent? Have you ever had to throw away medication because of the liquid rule? Tell me your horror stories. I read them, and I use them to help teach others how to fight back. Be safe out there, fly smart, and don't let them push you around. I'll see you in the sky. Pazzo, and one last thing. If you think this was helpful, wait until you hear about what hotels do to senior bookings. But that is a story for the next video.